Hey everybody, and welcome to episode 322 of Unboxing Wednesdays for comics arriving in stores on Wednesday, December 28th, 2016. Alright everybody, it is the last new comic book day of 2016. And I'm here all by myself. Where's my partner in crime? Where's Ricky? Truth is, he doesn't love you, YouTube. He abandoned you today. Nah, he's just upset because there's no new comics in at the time that we're filming this episode. And, you know, one of the perks of the job that Ricky has is he gets to come in and see the comics in advance before anyone else does. And since he doesn't have that opportunity tonight, he just said, nah, to hell with it. I'm not going in. But, you know, that's his loss, I think. I think we're gonna have a fun show without him. Now, the only caveat to that is that we don't have any of the comics to actually physically show you. Comics will be arriving in stores on Wednesday, December 28th as usual, but a little not as usual because they won't be available till about 5 p.m. in the afternoon. So you can grab your new comics as you're headed home from work maybe, but they won't be there first thing in the morning, and that is due to some shipping delays caused by the holidays. So hopefully that's okay with most of you out there. There's some of you though in other parts of the world, like you know, parts of the US and the UK, where you may very well be getting your comics on time and as scheduled. So best thing to do is check with your local shop and make sure you're aware of the time that your new comics will be available this week. Here at Stadium Comics and at most shops in the Greater Toronto area, won't be till a little bit later in the day on Wednesday. So what I think we're going to do today is we're just going to do a quick episode looking at some of the highlights of the comics that are coming out this week that are going to be brand new on shelves, and we'll be back next week hopefully with you know, your regularly scheduled programming. But before we get into the comics, I want to just talk to you guys about our awesome Boxing Day sale that we're having at Stadium Comics. It's actually a Boxing Week sale. It goes until next Monday. Here in store, we've got all kinds of new discount graphic novels that we've brought in, and when I say new discount graphic novels, I don't mean that they're brand new, as in, you know, stories that are recent. They're stories from all throughout the history of comics, I guess, and but they're new to the store in that they haven't been discounted to this extent in our store up until this point. So we brought in a whole new selection of discounted graphic novels. We've got some long boxes full of $2.99 graphic novels that are well worth your while to check out if you're swinging by our store here in Brampton. And then we've got 50% off certain back issues like Deadpool comics, Star Wars comics, Walking Dead comics. So you definitely want to check that out as well if you are on the hunt for back issues. On our online store, stadiumcomics.com, we've got some Boxing Week specials as well. We've got a whole bunch of discounted back issues selling for as low as 50 cents a piece, and for the first time ever, we're doing an online graphic novel Boxing Week sale. So it's graphic novels priced as low as $2.99. Finally available online for the first time. A lot of people have been asking us over the last year or two, when are we going to do a graphic novel sale online? Well, now is your chance. So head over to stadiumcomics.com and check out those awesome offers. Alright, with that being said, now let's get into some highlights for this week's comic books. So first, let's talk about some non-Marvel DC stuff that you might want to consider picking up today at your local shop. First up, let's look at the second installment of Jeff Lemire and Scott Snyder's book, AD After Death. What if we found a cure for death? This is the second chapter of the haunting sci-fi epic by Scott Snyder and Jeff Lemire. Jonah Cook is haunted by his long past, but will it be enough to push him to turn his back on eternal life? And who or what may be calling to him from the old world below the clouds? Alright, so this book is, you know, when the first issue came out, it was an instant sellout. A little bit annoying because it's in that oversized format, and like, you know, how do you store and care for that oversized format book? But it really seemed to work for this comic as well. The format that it was printed in, beautiful cardstock presentation as well. So definitely pick up book number 2 of 3, especially if you already picked up number 1. If you haven't been able to find number 1, you know, head out to your local comic shop, ask if they can get an order in for you. It's definitely worth the read. Alright, the next book you might want to consider picking up is from IDW Publishing, and it is G.I. Joe, issue number 1. G.I. Joe is back. In the wake of IDW's Revolution crossover event, G.I. Joe's mission has become a global one. They aren't just real American heroes, they're real Earth heroes. Get ready for an explosive, innovative take on Joe as writer Aubrey Stitterson and artist Milona Giannis bring you the crown jewel of the Hasbro universe. Lasers, intense sci-fi action, and the return of Scarlet, Roadblock, Snake Eyes, and more. Alright, so G.I. Joe number 1, another relaunch of the popular 80s cartoon from IDW. You can't go wrong with a G.I. Joe number 1, especially when they're now the real Earth heroes. Definitely worth adding to your list this week if you are a fan of awesome 80s pop culture stuff as I am. Another book you should be picking up this week, if you're looking at non-Marvel DC titles, is issue number 1 of Grimm Fairy Tales from Zenescope. The world of humans has forever changed, and the Grimm universe has been shaken to its core. It started with the Age of Darkness, and now with the death of Sela Mathers, Earth's longtime guardian, the realms of power have fallen into chaos, but Sela left behind one thing that may be able to save the world, her daughter Sky. Don't miss this new chapter in Grimm Fairy Tales that takes the series back to its roots. One thing about the Grimm Fairy Tales series, I mean, they're not always the best quality stories, but the artwork is always gorgeous, and particularly the cover artwork, and in this case it's no exception. We've got covers by David Finch, we've got covers by Ebass, there's a cover by Greg Horn, and a cover by Talent Caldwell as well. Definitely worth taking a look if you're into beautifully illustrated covers. And Grimm Fairy Tales has always been one of Zenescope's best-selling titles. Another quick note about the non-Marvel DC stuff is Saga number 41 was slated for release today. It looks like there was a printing error with the book, so Image Comics has kindly asked retailers to not showcase that book amongst this week's new releases, but we are told that the corrected version will be hitting shelves in about a week's time. So if you're hankering for your Saga fix, you might have to wait a week, but it shouldn't be too big of a deal. Alright, let's move on to the DC books, and here's a book that I wouldn't normally highlight, but the description and the cover are just way too awesome to pass up the opportunity. It's Scooby-Doo Team Up, issue number 21. It's hard enough for Scooby and the gang to crack the mystery of a Dickensian Yuletide ghost, but it's harder with help, in quotation marks, from Mystery Inc.'s newest member, Harley Quinn. Harley's decided to try a new career as a ghost-busting detective, and when she swings that giant mallet, nobody's going to tell her no. But the gang doesn't suspect the real reason for Harley's relocation. She's on the run after a lover's spat with the Joker, and Mr. J wants her back. So this is interesting for a couple of different reasons. First off, Harley Quinn's first appearance in the Scooby-Doo books from, I think, about a year ago, it sells for a decent amount of money now. It's something that collectors of Harley Quinn books are after. And this one not only features Harley Quinn, but it features the Joker as well. So definitely worth adding to your list this week, if nothing but for the interest in seeing how goofy a story with Harley Quinn and the Joker meeting the Scooby Gang can actually get. So I'm adding that to this week's list of recommendations. Next up, we have an awesome new miniseries that's starting this week, and it is Supergirl Being Super, issue number 1 of 4. Flying and crushing coal into diamonds may come easy, but try popping a Kryptonian zit. Caldecott Honor-winning and Eisner Award-winning writer Mariko Tamaki teams with Eisner Award-nominated artist Joelle Jones, you may know her from doing the awesome book Lady Killer, for a coming-of-age tale like you've never seen before. But while growing pains shake up Kara's world, a deadly earthquake rocks the small town of Midvale beneath her feet. The Girl of Steel has a choice. Let her world die, or overcome her adolescent insecurities and be super. So this title is going to be interesting for a few reasons. Number one, Supergirl, the television show, has become insanely popular, and Supergirl is being recognized as a awesome female superhero by people all over the world. And secondly, the art of Joelle Jones. You can't go wrong there. She's fantastic. You've seen her at work with Lady Killer and numerous covers that she's done for books over the last little while. So really looking forward to seeing this interpretation of Supergirl. Next up is All-Star Batman number 5, and we're going to be covering 3 covers of this at our store. There's the regular cover, then there is a variant cover by SHALVEY, and a variant cover by JOCK. I'm always a big fan of the JOCK variant covers. I think they are a great investment because it's beautiful, beautiful art. Interiors, of course, still by John Romita Jr. and written by Scott Snyder. This is the conclusion of the first story arc of All-Star Batman. Batman, Duke, and Two-Face square off in a fight for Harvey Dent's soul. With assassins flooding in from across the countryside, Batman learns that even his most trusted allies might choose evil over good. So I think that's definitely one you should be adding to your pickup list today. The last book I want to talk about from DC this week is Dark Knight 3: The Master Race number 7 of 8. So this is the second last book in that series, and there's not much of a description for this installment of the series other than to say that Batman and Superman are back together again, but is their reunion too late? So very cryptic there. Always great to see Batman and Superman teamed up. Especially in Frank Miller's world. We're going to have 4 covers for this book. We're going to have the regular cover, we're going to have variants by Chris Burnham, Howard Chaykin, and Klaus Janson as well. So be on the lookout for those at your local shop today. Oh, and one more book I should talk about today is issue number 2 of 6 of Justice League vs. Suicide Squad. The first major event storyline of DC's rebirth era begins with a day Amanda Waller always knew would come. The Justice League discovers the existence of the Suicide Squad. This government-sponsored Black Ops team of supervillains with bombs implanted in their brains is obviously a deal-breaker for Earth's paragons of truth and justice. But you can bet the Wall and her Task Force X won't go down without the fight to end all fights as this weekly series gets underway. So that's issue 2 of 6. We're going to have a few covers for that book. We'll have the regular and variants by Terry Dodson, as well as a variant by Amanda Connor. Okay, moving on to the Marvel books, there's a few books we want to talk about. First off, there is a Star Wars book coming out today, Star Wars issue number 26. It will focus on some of the secrets in Obi-Wan Kenobi's journals, and there's also an action figure variant for it featuring a droid, and those are always fun, of course, the John Tyler Christopher action figure variants. And also, you know, just as a sad note, of course, everyone here at Stadium is deeply saddened by the passing of Carrie Fisher, Princess Leia. So yeah, it kind of sucks. It's been a bad year for all kinds of celebrities that us geeks hold dear, and Carrie Fisher, I don't think there's somebody who's passed away this year that means more to us nerds and geeks as Carrie Fisher does. So yeah, we are definitely feeling the pain here, but her work lives on through some of the most awesome movies ever created, so we can take solace in that. We've also got a new Rocket Raccoon series debuting today. So Rocket Raccoon books are always a lot of fun. My interest in Rocket Raccoon has been peaked again since seeing the Guardians of the Galaxy 2 trailer. And you know, it's worth picking up issue 1s of series like this just to see what direction the series is going to take. So I would add that to your list today if you can. We've also got a new Hulk series launching today, and this Hulk is a little different than the Hulk series that have existed in the past. This one is headed by the former She-Hulk, Jennifer Walters. Now she's just the Hulk. And let's find out a little bit more about that book. Jennifer Walters has survived the Civil War, barely, and having risen from the rubble, she re-enters the world a different kind of hero. Fueled by a quiet rage, she is determined to move forward, to go on with her life, but the pain of the past and all she's lost is always there, an undercurrent, a pulse, waiting to quicken and trigger Jen's transformation into the one thing she doesn't have control over. What do you think that one thing is? Might be the Hulk. Just saying. It's my wild guess for today. We're going to have a bunch of different variant covers for this book. Obviously, we're going to have the regular cover. We're also going to have a Scotty Young cover, a Dale Keown cover, an action figure variant, of course, and a couple other. So I encourage you to check all of those out at your local shop today. Then lastly, we have the conclusion, the much delayed conclusion of Civil War II with Civil War II issue 8. So let's delve into that book a little. Blockbuster creators Brian Michael Bendis and David Marquez go out with a seismic bang as fists fly over Washington, D.C. Ulysses' precognitive powers grow stronger with each passing moment. As they reach their peak, what horrors from the future will be unleashed? And seeds sown here will bear bitter fruit for the Marvel Universe of tomorrow. Protect the future or change the future? It all gets decided here. Of course, the cover that we've all kind of seen shows the Iron Man mask lying seemingly discarded on the ground. What does that mean for the future of Tony Stark? Well, it can't mean good things, because we know in Invincible Iron Man, Riri is you know, wearing the suit of armor now as Ironheart, and Tony Stark seems to be out of the picture. So it'll be interesting to see what happens to him in this final issue and what happens to the other heroes in the Marvel Universe. It should be an interesting read for sure. We, of course, are going to have a bunch of variants for this book. We've got our the regular variant, of course, as well as the Michael Cho variants, which have been very cool, and the Phil Noto variants, which have been just stunning. So all of those should be available at your finer local comic shops, including ours, on Wednesday, so definitely check that out. Alright guys, I'm going to wrap it up there. I'm not going to do any prizes or you know, questions for prizes this week. We'll have Ricky resume the questions of the week next week, along with, I think we'll be due to draw another name for the Comic Boxer giveaway, and that should be awesome. And there's also an extra bonus prize this month as well, the George Todorovsky art print, which we showcased about 2 weeks back in a previous episode of Unboxing Wednesdays. So be sure to check out that episode if you haven't watched it already, and be sure to tune in next week to see who the winner is. And we'll get back to our regularly scheduled programming next week. In the meantime, you can follow us on any of the websites you see listed here on the screen. Be sure to check out our Boxing Day specials, both in-store and online at our website, stadiumcomics.com. And we'll see all of you guys next time for episode 323 of Unboxing Wednesdays. Hope you all had a Merry Christmas, and hope you'll have a Happy New Year this weekend, and we'll see you all in 2017.